you doing? Paul from Deutsche Auto Parts. Today we're going to be installing LED interior lights on a Volkswagen CC 2013. These lights are the Volkswagen OEM versions that they offer. They are made by Philips and they're set up already with resistors inside to make sure that you don't have any bulb monitoring error lights that come on after installing them, like many aftermarket versions. The tools required for installing these LEDs in this vehicle are a Volkswagen trim removal tool, also sometimes called a bone tool, a small flathead pocket screwdriver, and a T20 Torx screwdriver. When we start this install, we want to start by turning off the lights so the heat doesn't become a problem with the bulbs. When starting the install, you have to start, this trim panel right here comes off. You can try to put a bone trim tool in here. Usually this section is too small of a gap for you to get it in there. So we're going to start with our pocket screwdriver. Just get it in there ever so slightly and work it in. And then we're going to get underneath the trim. We can then get our bone trim tool in there and pop it out. And it does just have a couple clips that snaps it in, and then it will swing down. From there are two T20 Torx screws. There's one here and also one here. We remove those. And then this entire trim piece pulls down. You got to be a little careful because there are connectors on there holding it on. So you got to pull it and release it from the tabs that hold on. So here we're looking at the back side of the dome light assembly in the front. Here are two bulbs we're going to be replacing. All they are is twist out. So you turn counterclockwise and you can remove it. And you do that with the other one. So these are the two bulbs we just removed from the dome light assembly. They're just peanut bulbs that pop right out. We can remove them and then slide these blade style back in there. And now we're all set to reinstall them. Okay, now we're getting ready to reinstall the LED bulb in the socket back into the dome light assembly. Just keep in mind, these are polarized bulbs. They have a specific direction they have to be in. If you install them and they don't turn on, all that needs to happen is you need to remove it, turn it 180 degrees and reinstall it, and you'll have the correct direction for them to turn on. Then we go in, just install them and turn clockwise to install. Drop them in place, turn clockwise to install. Now we're ready to put this back up, but before we do so, we can go ahead and test them. Okay, we've now reinstalled both bulbs in this dome light assembly. We do want to double check, just turn it back on, verify both your lights turn on and none of them need to be turned around, and then we're all set to install and we can turn it back off. Okay, so now we're going to reinstall the dome light assembly. If we get these connectors out of our way, slide this kind of in place, and then we can just snap the rest of it up. Once we get it snapped up, it's not going to stay there because we do need to reinstall the Torx screws that we already removed. Once we reinstall these Torx screws, everything in this dome light assembly should be pretty tight. And we just flip that up snap that in place. And we're all done with the center console. Just one more time, good to verify, just double check the lights do work. Now we're going to be removing the driver's side visor light. The passenger side visor light will remove the same way. You just go to the outer edge, pop behind it, and kind of pull down. They have a metal spring clip that holds it in right here. That all you got to do is push that in to release it. So you pull that down. We can spin that and expose the light here. It's just a snap-in light. You can just pop it out like that. Now we get to our new bulb. Is the LEDs with the white background on them. They have white resistors. They pop in the same way. And we want to make sure that the white portion is facing backwards so that obviously the light comes out the front. And we do want to double check these as well because we will have to reverse them if they don't work after they're installed. So we can just open the visor real quick. We see it does turn on. So now we can reinstall it. And you would do the same thing on the passenger side of the vehicle. Alright, now we're going to install the rear LEDs. We have to remove this trim panel. All you do is kind of pull your fingers behind it and pop it down and pop it down. It's real easy. It's got these mounting tabs on it at each corner. Now we're going to remove the bulbs. They just pull straight out. They're peanut bulbs just like the front ones. They just have pins on them and they pull straight out. Now we get our 3 LEDs and just push them in. Again, you should test them to verify that they work because they do. It does matter which direction they're facing. So we are going to want to verify that. And clearly only one of them works. So turn it off, turn it 180 degrees, push it back in. Okay, now that we've rotated them all 3 of them are working now, so we can go ahead and reinstall the trim panel. It is pretty simple to reinstall. Just line up with the 2 buttons and push it back on. And we're all done installing the rears. Now we have our final light, the rear trunk light. And this one will remove much like the visor light. You pop in your trim tool and it'll slide out like so. You're going to want to go ahead and just unplug it to get and turn the light off. Okay, once you remove the light and unplug it, all you do is pop the bulb out. You can do so by just applying some pressure to the edges and it'll pop right out. To reinstall the new one, you can just pop it back in. Alright, now once you've got this installed, make sure that you have the blue portion of the bulb facing backwards and the lit portion facing forwards. You will again want to plug it in just to double check that it does actually indeed light up. Ours does. So therefore you just slide it back in and pop it in place. Make sure that the rear bulb is going to be the one with the blue back. If you are installing this one first and you try to do the white bulbs in here, it will not work.